Hello, my name is Travis, and this is Frantic Purpose. Thank you for being here. I love that you're listening to this because you're one of a very small group of people, a very elite group of listeners that decided to come in and say hello to Travis. What am what's it all about? What am I talking about today? Um, I think I feel great in the first year of January, January 5th. It's a Friday, and I have made so much stuff this week, and it's just been a lot of fun. I've really found a lot of joy in my morning routine, which is of course making coffee, sitting down, and listening. I'm listening to Expert at the moment, Dax Shepard's podcast. Um, is it Monica, the other person? Sorry, I don't know. I know Dax personally. I'm just kidding. I don't. But it's entertaining. And then I think and I've listened to a good more podcasts than I've ever listened to. I used to think like why would I sit and listen to someone else talk as I record, a million podcasts. I don't think anyone's listening though. That's the difference. And I realize a lot of podcasts are just like interviewing famous people, and I get it. I get the draw. But also, like, what if and this is a silly idea, and I think I'm going to do it. I ordered microphones already. I want to interview random people. I just want to, and I know people do it on TikTok. I'm talking about long form. I've had a gift for conversation my whole life. People will find me, talk to me, and then the conversation goes on and on. And I think it's because I have like a deep care and consideration for people, and I am genuinely interested in people of all types, everyone. Like, even I would say from the very good to the very bad, everywhere in between. It doesn't matter. I like understanding human beings and also listening to human beings. So my idea for a podcast is to literally, and the first thing that comes to mind is there's a like a courtyard in front of the De Young Museum, and also the Cal Academy of Science, I think. And there's this big area, and I'm thinking that I just go there with a sign that says "Let me interview you." Um, Getting text from my wife. We're going to Bodega Bay, and she's excited. So I'm thinking going out there and just having a sign. I don't know who's gonna come over to me, but just to sit down and give random people my time until they're done. Sit down, give them a little microphone, have them clip it, and then ask them questions, and try to direct them in a way that to get into the nitty gritty, to the truth. I think we all like walk around, man. I swear, is it every time that I do a podcast, I just burp all the time throughout. I mean, I eat an apple, but whatever. Just wanted to share that with you. I think it'd be super fun to do. It'll be difficult to do because I don't know um, who's gonna wanna be interviewed by this guy. You know, but it's worth it. I'm kind of like over the famous people interviewing famous people. Doesn't it seem a little like, the snake eating itself? The whole, like, what is that, Ouroboros or whatever? I like it's a little masturbatory, and that's what I'm feeling as I'm listening. Like, the more, and I've listened to a lot, like, also Smartless, and I'm not saying like these guys suck. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying, like, shouldn't we be listening to each other more? Like, reach out. We really worship celebrities a lot, which makes there are modern gods. There are who we look toward to be entertained and to um, we all go to church at night. You know, same thing. We all like at the end of the day after work with our loved one or by yourself, sit and consume. At least I do in my family a lot, be it TikTok, whatever. We go to our separate churches, the church of pop culture, and and then we listen to them. Like, is there no time where we consider each other? Is there no? I guess there's no forum for that. A bar, maybe. That was one of the things too. Is like thinking I'd just go to a bar and eventually ask someone in the bar, like, uh, do you mind if I interview? And they'll be like, why? And I'm like, what are you doing? We're both here. We'll talk anyway. And I don't know. I've just kind of been thinking about pop culture and how we really do this. You know, we all collectively like there's not a lot of famous people compared to the let's just say America, to the population of America, the people that we all love, the people that we like last year randomly, like Pedro Pascal, like all of a sudden he was the guy, and we choose that. We choose who wins as a unit. You know what I mean? It's not some. It's a weird metric, but we think, you know, Tom Hanks. Wow, what a legend, and he is. He's a legend, but that's only because we're like, yeah, we all like that guy. We all just choose to like a specific person and rocket that person into stardom, success, absurd wealth. We do that as a crew. Like, we're better at doing that than politics. 100%. Like, you have no, like, most of us don't even vote for our politicians. But maybe if there was a forum that there was always politicians on TV, and then we just chose, we would end up choosing who we like watching more, and then those numbers would determine the leader. Like, that'd probably be accurate, because in the comfort of our own home, we would choose exactly who we like we're not watching things out of obligation in our homes because we're not under any type of monitoring or anything, other than, of course, the platform that is absolutely monitoring what you're watching. I'd say that streaming platforms and also like platforms like Spotify Music, they know you more. They know you better than most people, because outside of your domicile of your home, you're curated. You're 100%. No one doesn't curate. Like, everyone has a curated version of themselves. I know there's people out there like, well, I don't. I'm a very honest person, and I'm one of those people. But I know I curate myself. I can't help it. I because it's just a component of being in society. You know, if you didn't, you'd probably be an a-hole. But if you are an a-hole, that's a curated thing. You're probably doing something else. Like, it's rare that anyone is truly themselves in their house and outside their house. Regardless, it'd just be interesting to do a podcast, and no one, and of course, no one needs to listen, because it, like, the game of my artwork is what sounds fun. It has to be fun. It has to feed something. It can't be a slog. Um, and going out and just, and hey, I could fail, and and no one could come forward to be interviewed, and the interviews would just be someone being like, oh, poo poo pee pee, dum dum blah 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 blah, like, just nonsense, being a troll. Even then, that would be a win for me, though. Yeah, just sounds like a good idea. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's real. Even I love pop culture. I love knowing directors and like composers and and musicians and shows and cinematography, and having an opinion about it's like a part of my family. We all have it. Me and my siblings, we can take apart anything comprehensively, and also like with not sounding like total idiots, which is great. But I don't know. I just think it's weird. It's not weird because we all, I guess we all choose, like, that whole industry is based on what they think we are going to like, and we separate and ourselves from them. And I guess we want to be them because at our core, maybe everyone wants to be beloved, and that makes sense to an extent. Who doesn't want to be beloved? To have, like, but I don't know. It's wild. Anyways, I'm not going anywhere with that. It's just I think it'd be super interesting. And I think that's why we like true crime or like documentaries about real people, is because it is real. And when you're listening to Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes, who I am a big fan of, interview um, Adam Driver. That's his name, right? Kylo Ren. I love him. Um, it's just the elite interviewing the elite. And we feel cool because we're like, man, they probably have, you get a peek into these celebrity lives. And for some reason, it's like, wow, they're just like me. It's like, no shit. Sorry, I swore. My bad. I usually don't swear on this show. But no crap. Of course they are. They could, in reality, they are probably nothing like us, mostly because we put them on a pedestal. If we didn't, they'd be normal. They'd be like us. They are like us. They're humans. And they just they have to have some desire to be well known. Like, of course, they'd be like, I just like to act, and I, it's a passion of mine. But also, you probably had some desire to be known. The mega win of that career field is being a celebrity, walking outside, and being like, "Oh man, you're Kylo Ren," all the time. Which is cool. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I've been thinking a lot about that kind of stuff. Society as a whole, the American society, where I was born and raised. Who are we Americans? We're a bunch of, we're a wild bunch, that's for sure. We are a certain type of person, and that's okay. That's cool. Right on. Let's move on, Travis. Come on, get over it. I can't get over it. I can. That's fine. Moving on. Oh man. So I talked about my schedule. Did I talk about? I did. I think. I suck at sleeping. By the way, most people I look forward to sleeping. My wife Amanda sleeps like a champ. Like recently, we were rewatching White Lotus, and if you don't know, me and Amanda have our own podcast called Tremendous Talk, and that's on Spotify too. So if you want to listen to me and Amanda talk, it's fun, unfiltered, and directionless. So if you have time and you want to be entertained by two very genuine people, go over there. But we're rewatching White Lotus, which is a great show, like a fantastic show. I'm looking forward to season 3, and that now I have the next topic. But Amanda, being a great sleeper, like we're on the couch, and I'm like whenever I'm watching something, I have I always have a million questions, but I'm like analyzing the show, and I'm like, where can you stay at this Hawaiian, like, Maui place? And I found it, and I'm looking at all the prices for these rooms, and then I'm like, oh, here's one for $10,000 a night, which is insane. I show it to her. She's right there. And she's like, oh, we're like under a blanket. And she's very cozy. And then I go back and I find one for 30. This is like 10 seconds. I like scroll down. There's one for $30,000. And then I go to show her, and she is just asleep. Like, she's like just dead asleep. And and it's so cute, but it's so funny, and because it's just instantaneously, I'm like, man, I never do that. There's never a point where my eyes are fluttering, unless, of course, like in basic training, when I was there, for some reason, in basic training, you're at a like a PowerPoint slide thing, like they're teaching you something that, like how to use the GI Bill, and for some reason, and it's like weirdly warm in there, not hot, but you know that cozy, like all encompassing warmth. That's what's going on. And oh man, I fall asleep there. Class, like I fall asleep in class. Like so maybe what I need to do is just just recreate class environment before bed as I'm going to like in our room in at the foot of our bed we have a 65-inch TV, which is like my favorite thing because being cozy in bed and watching TV and you're gonna be like, well, that's probably why you can't sleep. And it's like, no. When I go to when that's before I'm even ready for bed. Like Amanda's tired and I want to be with her as she falls asleep, so I'm like there. I'm not tired already, so be quiet. But it's great. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I could just make a PowerPoint and then like record myself teaching myself something, and then maybe I'll fall asleep. That's a creative way. Okay, so anyway, last year there's a lot of strikes in the entertainment industry. Like everyone's out here being like, we're mistreated. We need more money." And it's like, okay, valid. We're in a whole different world of entertainment, and they're like, "Hey, we need to renegotiate these contracts because they're based on a system that is not being used anymore." Linear TV and like and cable and all of that stuff. It's different. It's been different for a little bit now, and and I told Amanda this too. Amanda is like the is the receiver of all like these predictions and everything. Like what did I say? I've like recently I told her that I think that rock there's like a boiling underground rock scene I think happening. I don't know why I think this, but I think it's because like more like clips are being served, and I don't look for rock, but just these bands, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I hope we swing back into a very like instrumental musical stage, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, who and like System of a Down and all, and the million bands that were super dope. I have my next topic too now, but essentially because of those strikes, and no one, I don't think anyone's considering this. 2024 is going to be like an entertainment drought of everything that we wanted, like Deadpool 3 and then White Lotus season 3, which has been pushed to 2025. Most things that were being worked on last year were paused for a very long time. So most things that we were looking forward to will probably come out at the back end of this year or 2025. Don't believe me? Just Google it, look it up. I looked up when White Lotus season 3 is coming out, and it's coming out in 2025. It's going to be in Thailand, which is cool. I'm excited. It's so crazy. I think his name's Mike White. Well, hold on, I got to I got to fact check here. Mike White. There he is. When we were watching White Lotus, and I'm like, it's so crazy that the guy from School of Rock wrote and directed this show. And she's like, Schneebly? What's his name? Like she knew the exact character from School of Rock that I was talking about. But it's so wild. Anyways, oh man, I had it. Music. So just to wrap up the past thing, be prepared to have everything pushed. It's already pushed. Google it. And I was talking about rock and it being bubbling up. Oh man, I totally forgot. Poop. But it's exciting. In general, life is exciting. It's great. My mom watched Barbie for the first time, and I had a feeling my mom is not, a lot of people, a lot of females I've heard in my life are of the belief that there's, more more things to do, like women don't have rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like feminism, whatever, like all these things, like we need to wage gap, all of that, you know, everything in that sphere. My mom does not agree with at all. My mom, and just to give you perspective, my mom is uh, a badass. She has worked very hard in her life, is the breadwinner of the family, and has grinded and succeeded and excelled in her career like my whole life. She's a huge influence on me. So her opinion about women, and her mom's the same way. Like I just have I've had a very strong, like strong independent women in my life, like my mom and my grandma, like both of them specifically great. Like my grandma Grams was like a pilot and had a, like, she just essentially thought of things and did them. She sailed, she had a sheep farm, I'm pretty sure, like, and she just was out here doing what she wanted and getting stuff done. And my mom, and she still works, and it's funny because she works with my mom. um my grandma, I think she's turning like 89 this year in February. Happy birthday, Grams. All that to say, I really was looking forward to her perspective on the movie, um, and because I didn't think she would like it, because like, and I'm not like, Barbie is an objectively successful movie, right? Like, totally killed it. I think it almost made 1.5 billion dollars. It'll probably be nominated for Oscars. I I think it was a well done blockbuster. You know, it's almost like the toy equivalent of a Marvel movie. Um, I think, and God help me if anyone finds this podcast. I just don't. It's not for me. The movie, they didn't make it in for me in mind, you know, which is fine. Who would do that? It's for females, right? I mean, the movie is very much for women, I think. Is that fair to say? We'll see. Um, and my mom just hated it. She hated it for a million reasons. She just, it didn't hit home. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, for me, Barbie was interesting because I saw like just something completely different. I saw my history in dating and relationships, which is a component of Barbie, is hasn't been great. Not to talk crap about any of my past people. It just is. Uh, there were some very low points, and part of that was really feeling like I didn't matter and valueless, and I didn't know where my value was, and blah blah blah. So the Kins were just, I just thought too much about it. I think too much in general. It's my own fault for going to see Barbie, and Ryan Gosling all the Kens did such a great job, and the whole the song and everything, it's great. Whatever, I took it too seriously in general. It just hit too many bells. Like when they're the whole scene where all the Barbies are pretending to like the Kens. Um, I'm like, man, that's mean. It's mean. Anyways, we'll move on. It's made me sad. Um, let's see, what else? Is there anything else worth talking about here? That's a lot of top of mind stuff. I started making my zine, and if you don't know what a zine is, it's essentially like this hodgepodge kind of, people write their, like, they're these small little kind of pseudo comic, like collage, usually like manifesto-y documents, and back in the day artists would make them to like subvert the mainstream, and so they're just like these gritty, mine's called Fog City Pulp, and I just look forward to it because there's this movie called Under the Silver Lake, which was a flop, but it is like, and I love this movie, and part of it has this zine culture, and in the zine they tell these like dark realities of LA, and also these like kind of urban legends of LA. And it's very, I love culty, mysterious monster horror. Like I love all of that stuff, like bizarre, could it be true type deals. It's so much fun. It's like magical. So I'm very excited. I wanted to make a zine. I've been talking about it for like years, and finally last night when I couldn't sleep, it's like what I think it was like 2 a.m. I was working on the cover for an hour, and man, that's just exciting. I'm excited to make I'm gonna base it on real lore, and real historical events. Probably make up my own kind of like right in that sweet spot of like a based on a true historical event, but like add a historical fiction, I guess you'd call it. And that's gonna be cool. You know, I'm super excited. So that'll be posted on Instagram. I've really hit a whole new area in art. It's really insane. Like I'm just pumping out these new images that I've never made before, which is all. It's exciting. I love it. It's so relaxing, and I'm just like boom boom. I like as I'm listening to podcasts, I'm like doing this. I'm just like I'm just in the zone. Um, Anywho, I think it's gonna be great. Um, is there anything I'm looking forward to? So if I didn't tell you, I think I did. I mentioned Bodega Bay, but like and randomly, and I don't know if you do this, but if you don't, you should. A lot of people are like, just they imprison themselves a little bit. And recently, my brother Kai realized that traveling doesn't have to be expensive, and in some cases isn't expensive at all. Um, and he, it's so funny. Like his whole life, he's kind of been like, what can the world offer me? And he just, what was it? Thanksgiving. Kai's like, did you know that Airbnb has like all these really cheap places to stay? And me and my big brother Eric are like, yeah, of course. He's like, I think I'm gonna start traveling. I think I could do that. I'm like, we're like, yeah, yeah, of course you can, do it. So since then, Kai's been traveling a lot, and it's been great because I'm so excited for him that he's realized that the world is attainable, like like, and you don't have to be a millionaire to experience it. It's really just what you realize where you can stay, and that it's not all about White Lotus type places. Like in fact, like sometimes those are kind of just not. I get it. I get the draw, but I mean, you don't have to do that. So, as an example, last night, me and Amanda are watching The Crown, which I haven't watched. She's been watching, and I kind of am just wondering, like whenever Amanda's watching a show that I'm not in, like not actively involved in, and don't really have a need to watch, I'm just sitting by her and I'm kind of wondering, I'm in my head. And I'm like, it'd be kind of fun to take a weekend trip. We had been talking about weekend trips, and Amanda really wanted to do one. So I'm like, cool, yeah, let's do it. In my head, blah, 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 blah. And there's this cool thing on Google, and I don't know if you guys know, but you could just do like SFO to anywhere. You could just have that setting in Google, and then it brings you to this whole other area for flights and travel. And you could do SFO or wherever you're at. So you do SFO to anywhere, and then if you have specific dates, which we did, you just plug those dates in, and then it gives you like a list of all the flights on those days, from like the cheapest to the most expensive. And we're like, I'm like, do you want to do a weekend trip? Yeah, yeah. And then I find one, Arizona. We're like, I've never been to Phoenix, and tickets to go to Phoenix for the time that she like has work off were $68 round trip. And I don't know if how you feel, but $68 per person round trip in the city is like a nice dinner. Not even a nice dinner, like kind of like a normal dinner with like a couple drinks. So I'm like, hey, let's go to Phoenix, and then we, of course, we're always like stacking and thinking of like, oh, and then we could go to like Grand Canyon, blah blah blah. But I reminded her, it's like the goal of these weekend trips is to keep it affordable. Not like that, not like, because anyone could stack any trip to be like like hella expensive. So point being, the round trip ticket was $68, and then we found a Airbnb for like $100 a night, and we're gonna be there for I think 3 nights. And the goal is just to see a new city and walk around and take it in, and that's it. So if you have any doubts about traveling, go to Google, and you could even do explore with like no definite date, just like a week or a weekend or a month, and it'll give you just prices for all over the world. You could do a map view, and you could find some really cheap stuff. Super cool. Um, I could speak about Frontier. Well, a good amount of the cheap flights are Frontier, and Frontier will like penny pinch you a lot. Like they present you with like, and that's when last year I went to Vegas a lot, and the cheat code is they have a very specific personal bag that you like. They have the dimensions. I bought an actual bag on Amazon. I think it was $12 that were the exact specifications for personal bag that is free. So I think the least I ever paid to go to Vegas with Frontier is $38 round trip. Cool. And if you don't add carry-ons, and you don't check luggage, and you don't pick your seat, and just so you know, they put you together. Like if you skip all of that, they in our experience they put us together. And also me and Amanda are like, we're just going to Vegas, or oh, well, we're just going here. But we've always been put together by Frontier if we don't pick our seat, so we just save money. And so your travel with your personal bag, which is like if it's a weekend trip, easy. You don't need a lot. And I guess that's the cheat code for travel is auditing what you take with you, what you think you need on the trip. The game is, the very fun game is, what can you what's the least you could take and still be comfortable? Not like comfort, but like in the sense that you won't be like reusing dirty underwear or some crap. So which underwear doesn't take a lot of um, stuff, a lot of room. Um, you just have your travel versions of things, and that's it. So once you key in that Frontier, oh man, you could really get a lot of places for cheap. So traveling is important, guys. And by guys, I mean everyone. Okay, everybody. Traveling's super fun and important, and it's not expensive. You just be creative. Look for the cool, like cheap spots. There's always cheap spots, and not cheap in the sense that they're low quality. It's just, you know, it's great. A lot of fun. I love traveling, and I love that Amanda is so down to travel. But it's all gravy. I think that'll do it for me. Thank you for joining me today. I Whenever I do these, I rarely remember what I talked about because it becomes like a conversation. It's just fun. I I think kind of imagine. It takes me a few tries to get into the groove of doing this, but it's exciting. 2024, I feel good about for some reason. Um, it's crazy because, like last year at the end of the year, I was feeling really kind of unlucky and a loser. And the way I get around that is structure. Uh, Whenever I feel like life is a little out of control, structure doesn't, you know. And usually when I'm feeling that way, I'm not adhering to my normal rules. Like if I audit myself, I find that, you know, I am not going to bed at any normal time. You know, what is that? I don't have a fundamental like problem with going to bed at 12 and waking up at 4. Because that's just my natural rhythm. I don't know what's wrong with me. But it's important that I go to bed when I'm tired. But I find that I'm just indulging more, and I'm trying to escape my feelings, which is out of control, loser, you're an idiot, you're ugly, all this dumb brain stuff. And if you just, I mean, I don't know how much I've talked about it on here, but in previous podcasts and whatever, mental health is a huge deal for me. I have to always be corralling myself and my brain. So structure is a big part of that. So at the end of last year, me and Amanda's really gotten on board. I brought her into what I do with my years as I go over the last year and I say what I didn't do well on, and then I build the structure for next year and what I want to like accomplish by the end of that year. And this year, it's just really good. I feel like I've regained power with structure. So if you're not a structured person, I really think that's because your internal mechanism is trying to make you believe that. If you believe that you can't make goals, if you believe that you can't make structure, if you believe that it's better to just like let it happen. That's all of like the language of like the negative voice, or what I love to call it, the little demon in you. I feel like we all have this little guy or little demon, genderless demon in you that's just like, hey, you should just you know how you say Monday through Friday don't no drinks. How about just like do it? And you know how you're like trying to diet and lose weight. You know, you've worked hard. You know, just go ahead and like order hella McDonald's for no reason, and it also convince you that like you weren't born to make goals. You know, that's just not you feel envious of people who do, but you should feel good because you don't do that, and all of that's BS. It's not true. It's just not true. Anytime anyone says that they're not a goal person, I just hear their little demon. Like I'm like you're choosing that. You're choosing that reality because it's easier. It is absolutely 1,000% easier to just to decide you're not a goal person, to decide essentially that you won't rise to the occasion and make plans to be the best version of yourself. You know, the best version of you just essentially are the person that's like saying you wish this, you wish that, I wish I had time, I wish blah blah blah, the wishers. You know, that means you are a victim of your little demon. You're being controlled, pulled around by that little dude in there. It is hard. It is hard to make structure. It's hard to say I'm going to work out 5 days a week. Like 30 to 45 minutes of elevated or something something that works you out. It doesn't like strength whatever, just like bare minimum 5 days a week. It sucks. I'm here to tell you it does, because some days that little demon's gonna be louder and some days it's gonna win. It's really hard to say, instead of eating exactly what I want, which is delicious, awesome, very good food, not good for you but delicious food, Oh man, instead of doing that, you eat vegetables and beans, and which is what I'm doing. That's hard. It's I love grilled cheese. That's just a fact. Who like I and I'm a great cook, objectively. I say that not as like egotistical, man. I am. It's been verified through many people I've cooked for, and I can make myself delicious stuff. So instead of doing that, I roast vegetables, which roasted vegetables are very good, and I eat refried beans, and I say no. And saying no is so dumb, but that's what you are. It's not that you can't make goals. It's not you can't schedule, you can't work out, you wish, you wish. It's not that. You just don't want to do it, which is your prerogative. Giving in to every desire is excellent, but it's not rewarding. It's rewarding in the moment, for sure. It feels great as you're doing it. But the repercussions of those actions build an incredibly negative future. Like, incredibly negative. In this, like, with the ultimate incredible thing, like, incredibly negative thing of just, like, dying early. I don't want to do that. I want to be here as long as I can. And I know that that just means doing hard stuff. Not I mean, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not like I want to change my lifestyle fundamentally. Instead of thinking, man, like double cheeseburgers, just like a lot of them sounds like man, that'd be so good. I want to change my mentality, so instead of thinking that, I think, man, roasted vegetables would be really good right now. Like the restructuring of my own mentality so that I can succeed. And I witness people who are deep in their own little demon's voice. Every day they they essentially veg out. And that's again your prerogative. There's always consequences to actions. Uh, personal actions. I'm not saying like existentially. I'm saying just like when you choose to overeat every day, I would guess that the joy of eating becomes less and less, and you need more and more, and that blows. It's like any other addiction. It feels so good, and it hits you dope like in the brain. Like when you eat, it makes you feel good, and then of course that numbs, so you have to eat more to feel good, and eat more and more and more, and then you gain weight, and because you gain weight, moving becomes harder and harder and harder. So you do it less and less and less. Like it's just this snowball, and then your body hurts. You're not using it, and that's the thing about the human body too. Like including your brain, the stuff you don't use, it dumps because it's all about efficiency. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you remembering? Are you doing like memory exercises? Are you exercising your muscles? Are you using your joints? It's it's like the biggest game of them all, uh, that everyone hates to play because we all want to exist being like, oh man, as our 20-year-old selves, actually 21-year-old selves. You wish you could just do whatever you want forever. And I get it, man. Getting old sucks. Like, it sucks to look in the mirror and see an older face. Because from what it looks like, it really seems like you keep your youthful brain for a long time, a long, long time. And you just get to witness yourself become this like different thing, which is hard. It's been hard in general, personally. Like this, which is why I want to diet like cuz I don't want to look at myself. I want to be as close to I want to feel good looking at and feeling good isn't like accepting this alternate reality where I'm like, well like this is good too. You know, if I'm like I'm not where I want to be weight wise, which I know. And I look at myself and I look at my face and I'm just like, man, this is a bummer. Like I look, how could, and this, it's making me emotional, but how can Amanda love me? You know, and it gets real. I get really in my head about it because I want to, but I've struggled with self love my whole life anyway. So off the bat, I, I rarely have ever looked in the mirror and be like, wow, look at that guy. But yeah, anyways, take care of yourself. It's hard, but it's rewarding. Kai, my little brother, uh, he said me and Kai talk a lot, and a lot of what he says like lives in my mind. You'll never regret working out because sometimes you're like, man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But at the end of every workout, you're never like, man, I wish I didn't do that. That really sucked. And if it did suck, it feels good. Um, So just try and remember that. Try to push yourself. I know it's like counter American. It's counter to, like America is not about that. It's not about accepting hard truths. We live in a culture where as you're binge watching a show, like the word binge is positive now. I don't know if you noticed that. But like Hulu has commercials that are saying to binge your shows and bingeable, you know. When binge back in the day was bad. Binging anything is bad. But now, excess is kind of becoming a cultural phenomenon. It's like excess is everything. And certainly excess in entertainment is 100% the way to the way to do it. And I'm a part of it, you know. I love, like I said, pop culture. Netflix drops a whole season of something. And I remember the first time they did that, I think it was like House of Cards. And it was this excellent show. And for the first time ever, you could just sit and watch it all. And everybody, all the streaming platforms were like, holy crap, they watch it all. They just eat it up. Before you had to go out and like buy a box set or whatever to binge watch a show. You couldn't do it. It was like logistically impossible. And unless you went out and bought the DVD set, which you know that costs a lot of money. It wasn't cheap. Um, but man, American culture isn't. I mean, we've been in trouble, man. We've all. It's not anything new. It's just at a new level. Like, buy everything. The amount of commercials on every platform, and now you could really make whatever you want. Like, you must the third party options for manufacturing or like software engineering or anything. You can outsource anything you want. If I wanted to make a toilet seat that tickled my butt cheeks as I sat on it, I I it could happen. It would do it. It could totally do it. I'm it would it probably wouldn't even cost a lot. And that's how it feels. Like every product that's being sold, all the products that are being on the market every day, like all the songs hitting spot 60,000 songs hitting Spotify a day. Like everyone's just being encouraged to buy this like insane amount of stuff. Like none of the commercials, like no one's saying save your money, you know, save your money, build a savings, go out, like have a walk, you know, and that's counter American. It's not what we do. We celebrate like DoorDash. We celebrate like binge your show. And as you're binging the show, buy like the Taco Bell party pack, which has like a gajillion tacos and burritos and whatever delicious, terrible stuff. And I'm not talking. I'm a fast food like I love talking about the industry. I love talking about like chain suburban regional restaurants and stuff. It fascinates me. But it's no wonder that we have like weight issues and problems because like not only is the culture pushing this stuff on us every single day, everywhere we go, we are being told to consume in an unhealthy amount, incredibly unhealthy, and to listen to our demigods who are telling us to buy more and to promote their movies and to promote their products. Everything's it's like a product based market. Like what are we even developing that's pushing forward the species? AI, I guess, but I mean, I'm I have to tell you, and I won't get into AI because I think I'm going to do this for 10 more minutes. But AI, I hope we develop regulations and everything for it because the potential for misinformation and just the dude bro on the street to create misinformation and also America's like total acceptance of misinformation, no fact checking, is terrifying. Like I don't need the AI overlords, you know. I don't need like we don't even need to get there because we're going to hit a wall that is so insane as far as generating photorealistic misinformation, almost like psychological warfare. Just dude bro on the street, you know, paying $10 a month to generate stuff that looks insanely real. Well, we're not there yet, you know, but we will be there. And I don't know. So join me in saying no. Join me in plugging in to not, and I'm not, I like I said, watching. I love pop culture. I love music. I love TV. I love everything we make. I think we're a fascinating race of things on this planet. But I mean, also remember that life, life will just like shoot through you if that's all you do. And before you know it, you'll be fatter than you've ever wanted. You'll barely move. Your step count a day will be like 89. And your body will decide that since you're not using most of your functions, that it's okay to like dial it down. Like we move 89 steps a day, so we'll throttle to that instead. We'll go ahead and throttle back and adjust to support that model. And then once you get there, if you try if you try to do anything extraneous, like you've done this for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden you want to go get healthy, that's going to be dangerous now. Because you're throttled now, your body's like, what is happening? 89 steps to now you want to do 10,000 steps in a day, which is 5 miles. It's not even long. That's not even I mean, that's a nice run. But I mean, even if you did 3 miles, like now you're in a danger zone. Boo. Just say no, guys. And then figure out a system to where you say no most of the time, and then you get a reward where you're like, yeah, so today's the day. I get to have a cheat day and go crazy. You know, have fun, eat, drink, enjoy life, go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a bonfire. You know, it's all gravy. That's it. I'm getting off my soapbox. So look forward to more art from me and more videos and more stuff. It's super fun. Thank you for following me. If you're listening to this, thank you for listening. I have no delusions of grandeur. I do this because it's fun and it kind of helps me sort myself out in a way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a great year. It's only been 5 days, guys. It's only been 5 days. And it's going to be a good one, maybe. He said famously, as the world blew up, that that you're. It's insane. Okay, that's all. Goodbye. I'm Travis. This is Frantic Purpose, and let's do it. You know, let's get it done.